On Thursday, come on.
All set up.
Did you know this was a tease, Peter?
I know.
All right, today is Monday, December 15th, 2025. I'd like to open the regularly scheduled meeting of the Allenstown, New Hampshire Board of Selectmen at 6 p.m. Starting with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's gonna be 15 rain all winter, isn't it?
Board member, present.
Here. Diane Adenoff, Laura Lambert.
Scott McDonald.
John Harrington, Trish Caruso sends her regards, but she has, so she.
Okay. Also in the room with us this evening,
Malcolm Bliss, Kearsarge Energy.
Eric Lambert, Fire Chief.
Armin Burville, Historical Society.
Chad Pelletier, road agent.
Peter DeSantis, Facility Supervisor.
online this evening, Joe. No. All righty. We'll go back to citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? I don't see Mike here.
Yeah.
All right, hearing no citizens' comments, we'll go to the first agenda item. Mr. Bliss. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Well, thank you all for making time on the agenda. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks to John for reaching out and letting me know of the interest. I'm happy to be here. As I am going to a lot of municipalities across New Hampshire, talk about state program called Group Net Metering. Group Net Metering is rules from the state about things that Kearsarge Energy needs to do when we build solar, and that's what we build solar, and we'll hear a little bit more about this in a second. On size 1 megawatt to 5 megawatt, which is not like this kind of those super big ones you see pictures of sometimes. But if somebody has like 10 acres or up to 20 acres, facility can install that. We'll hear a little bit more about that anyway. So I'm here to talk about the group net metering and the benefits available to the town of the program. With that, I'll do a little intro to.
Close that door. Yeah, if you want, you can see it.
John, I don't know where we chart at. All right, so this is just about Kearsarge Energy. Kearsarge Energy founded in 2009 to build solar and more recently now energy storage battery facilities in partnership with municipal and private entities. We built the business up on an organic basis, so it's starting small, but then as we get some success, we're able to build and grow out the business. Now we have 325 megawatts, that's a way of measuring the size of facilities, the assets, in operation, which is quite a bit. So built up slowly over those years with a commitment to long-term partnership. So unlike many other solar developers that do the scale and size of development, many others will build to a particular point in time and then sell to somebody else. That is not how we do it. We build and then we continue to own and operate. That means we have to wait. We have to be patient, waiting for the electricity generated, and that's how we're able to continue to grow our business. Electricity gets generated. That provides income, we grow the business. It also means that when we're building, we know that we're gonna be there in the long term. We better build right, because we don't want any problems if there are. Similar with our partners, that aligns us with our partners, our landowners, or those to get benefits from the production and generation, which Allenstown may decide to do. So we have aligned interests in that way. We're not gonna try to make our money and get out of town. We're there for long term. Each of these facilities lasts at least 20 years, and then oftentimes 25 and then 30 years. So we built that up to 325 megawatts. If anybody's gone by Manchester on Route 293 and you look up on the hill, and you might see a solar facility there. That's a facility that we built in conjunction with the city of Manchester. That became operational in 2001. They were pleased enough about that, that in 2024, 3 years later, they said, hey, Kearsarge, can we get more of the benefits from solar facilities, even ones not on our property? And that's what I'm here to speak with you about. We said, oh, yeah, you can, and they awarded us this very significant additional award to be able to deliver more benefits. They use so much electricity, they can get more and more benefits. And we can serve any public entity under the rules of the state of New Hampshire. We'll talk more about the program. Other recent contract awards that may be of interest, specifically group net metering programs are Amherst, Henniker, Northwood, Berlin Waterworks, other ones, Hooksett Village Water Precinct, and others like that. I was in Concord earlier today, where we're in progress of constructing on their landfill. We built a lot of landfills because solar's no use for a landfill. Anyway, so I was in Concord earlier today, talking about that. That is about Kearsarge Energy. There's other information up there that kind of covers it. If there's any questions about Kearsarge, headquartered in Boston and work in New England primarily. We subsequently grown out to New York State, and now we have a project just about finishing up in Maryland, and work ongoing in earlier stages in Michigan and Minnesota. But our home area is New England, was primarily Massachusetts, but we have a lot going on in New Hampshire right now, just because of this program and the way that the business is developed here. So every state kind of builds out their programs, and that's when it's right to start building solar. And so this is the time when it's right in New Hampshire. And we have now a pipeline of additional, beyond what we're going to talk about here, additional 100 megawatts of potential projects in New Hampshire. So we're very committed to stay in New Hampshire, and we're going to be here for a long time. We're happy to be here and look forward to that long-term partnership. It's the basic part of our business. The group meeting program is about getting benefits from the generation of electricity from facilities such as listed here. These happen to be facilities in the Eversource territory, because you all served by Eversource as an electric provider. So Milton, we have a project in Milton, Goshen, Stratford, Belmont, Farmington are the near-term projects coming up near term in solar language. This business requires some patience. So these are like in the next 18 months. And the production from these has to benefit public entities according to the state rules. It's kind of like a tax. It's not called a tax. It's probably easier to legislate than a tax. But we have to make payments to public entities when these projects are placed into service, and we have to make those payments under this group net metering program. The production from Milton, Goshen, and Stratford is already spoken for. We've already committed that to other public entities. Belmont and Farmington have, as you can see, 5.49 million kilowatt hours available in Belmont, and in Farmington, 3.8 million kilowatt hours available, which is more than adequate, more than adequate to serve my estimate of what is the usage here in Allenstown. My estimate is roughly 500,000 kilowatt hours, so we can easily accommodate what usage you have here. State rules say, you'll see that state rules say we got to pay out money. How much we can pay to any participant is based on how much electricity you use. So if you use 500,000 kilowatt hours, we'll see a forecast of this, 500,000 kilowatt hours in the past 12 months, that provides a cap on how much of the generation can be allocated to your utility accounts. That's about the projects available. And so the first one available to benefit is the one at Belmont. Here's a picture of the design drawing for that. Jamestown Road at Belmont. This is planned for service in 2026, which in solar time is so wow, it's pretty quick. Because in this business and a lot of things you all do too, takes time to get it done. But this one coming up already next year, And there you can just get a little feel of what the project's gonna look like. Here's the kind of the line by line breakdown of what is this state group net metering program. State program says what we have to do in order to operate these projects. There's no investment outlay required from the town. So you don't have to open your checkbook to participate. There's no investment to be made. We make the investment with the hope that we can get participation here.
Are these credits assigned only to the municipalities' utility accounts? So like this building, the police department and fire department, or is it something that benefits all of Allen's residents?
That's an excellent question. And it's to municipal meters only, not to the residents.
Okay.
There are different programs that the state has that can benefit residents. Our projects do not qualify to be able to do that. We're this 1 to 5 megawatt zone range, which the state says you're gonna be making the benefits available to the municipally owned meters. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Let's keep going. All right, hopefully I won't take too much time here. We'll get it done quick. It's not that long. Okay, no use of your property, land, or services, as the project is in Belmont, or in Farmington is the next one, or many of the towns that you go, oh, we don't have to worry about using our towns, none of your land, none of your services. There's no change to your electric service, your electricity supplier. You can participate in community power as you like, and it does not interfere or in any way constrain your ability to contract for supply. It doesn't change the quality or reliability, dependability of your electricity service, and doesn't change participation in community power if that's of interest to you. We don't represent that program, it's a whole different party like so. This is a separate party electric bill, and the benefits from this flow independent of any decisions or commitments made in any of those other areas. Also, credits get assigned to the municipal accounts, up to kilowatt hour usage, which we're talking about. You receive a payment from Kearsarge monthly tied to the solar project generation. Payments are bigger in the summer, monthly payments are bigger in the summer and less in the winter because in the summer there's more sunshine and we produce more. So we, in terms of forecasting out the payment, we work on an annual basis. Some of the larger payments in the summer, the smaller payments in winter, and it's gonna work out so that forecast we're going to see in a second. We commit to deliver those benefits for 20 years, as I mentioned, the facilities last 20 years, so we'll make the payments for 20 years. Here's the forecast. So you can see there's 20 years there. This is the amount of production from the Belmont facility. As example, we use the Belmont facility that would benefit the town, and more in the summer, less in the winter, as I mentioned. And on the far right-hand side, the accumulated payments, the value of electricity produced by these projects is the default supply rate that Eversource charges everybody else. So this facility earns at the same rate as Eversource collects for the supply service for the end portion of your bill. So that's what you see here. We expect, well, based on historic patterns, the default supply rate would increase 2.5% annually. So we use that to forecast this out. Some people go like, well, if it only increases 2.5%, I'll be pretty happy about that. In any case, we use that because it's the best. We'll say, how's it been historically? So we forecast that out. Here's the total value of production. A share of production provided to Allenstown, assuming 500,000 kilowatt hours usage, and then the
Was that million estimate based off our historical usage, or was that just a town of our size comparably?
Town your size comparably.
Okay.
And if you would like, if you say, hey, this is kind of interest, then as in one next step, you can say, hey, here's electric bills for a recent month. Please go through them, and in addition to figuring out what the right number is, we'll also provide a nice little report. You go, well, here's
Maybe you can help me with my next question, because it just seems like you wanna give us money.
Yeah.
What's the con? What would we be giving up in return? So
because, because this is, the way the state sets it up, and I said it's like a tax. So this is as if you're getting a source of revenue, that you can apply to your general fund or whatever else you want, and you don't need to put up anything else in return.
So there is no con to the municipality, we lose nothing, we give nothing, you just want to give us money.
Yeah, well, it's not that we want,
You
we
have,
thank you
You
for
have.
the state says you will do this, if you wanna play in this state, you're gonna develop someone's state, you're gonna give money to group participants, yeah.
Okay.
And some people told me, I forgot, I knew you had a question, but somebody said, hey, you know what, this is a lot like the casino rules. Somebody said,
charitable giving.
yeah, exactly, so if you wanna run a casino, you gotta provide charity, so that's the way the state set up that program. All right, or this program, they said, great, if you wanna run, if you wanna operate the state, you're gonna give money to group members who in this case are public entities. And even Concord Housing Authority is one, and the other were like other municipalities I mentioned, and water precincts and stuff like that, that's what, schools, good, all that stuff, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
How does Kearsarge Power benefit from putting a solar
Yeah.
array in the town of Allenstown?
This is how, thank you for that question, this is how, this is the purpose of our business, how we grow our business. So we make investments in facilities such as the one on landfill or Manchester by 293, or the one up in Concord, any of the ones we looked at there. So we make those investments, and in order to pay ourselves back, we also get a share of the value of the generation. And we would keep it all unless the state said you have to give some away.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so we would keep it all, but the state says you have to give a portion away, and so we give that portion away. But after we pay back the investment in the facilities, there's equipment, labor, engineering, environmental stuff. And we're paying lease for all the land that we use, and we're paying taxes to those towns that host these facilities. So we're paying that ongoing, we're paying maintenance and all that, so we have like there's a long list of stuff that we pay out. But eventually, if all goes well, the value of electricity and the amount we're allowed to keep pay off those investments as well as the ongoing costs, and that's how we can grow up the business and be able to do more work like this.
How big is the array in Belmont? How much ground do you have there?
Yeah, in Belmont, if you could back up to the Belmont picture, please, thank you. So here we see, let's see if it has this on it. I won't give you the exact acreage here, but here's a picture of it. If you would go back one more, please, I will do this off of the 5490. Okay, so this generating like 5.5 million kilowatt hours of energy. I can kind of back this up into the size of the array. It's most arrays produce for every megawatt of capacity, it's 1.3 that amount of electricity megawatt hours. So let's say this is a 4 megawatt project, which is within the 1 to 5 range we always do. 4 megawatt project that will likely cover, it's 2 to 3 acres, probably, let's say 3 acres per megawatt. That's 12 acres. Let's say it's 12 to 15 acres of land. I mean, just to rough it out, and I can get you exact numbers if you want.
And you've been in Manchester for how long?
Manchester, that project became operational became operational in 2021. But we're gonna be there a lot longer, that's for sure. The program, that project in Manchester was the trailblazer for the entire 1 to 5 megawatt program in New Hampshire. It was the first one in the 1 to 5 megawatt range. Previously, there was nothing over 1 megawatt lab, which 1 megawatt is the way the solar business works. You get good at doing a particular size. So that's our kind of our sweet spot. So that project is the first one that opened 1 to 5 megawatt program.
But for our purposes, for this contract or this opportunity you presented us, doesn't require Allenstown to build anything, just to enter into the agreement and say we will take your money.
That's exactly right. Exactly. Zero land required of
I mean,
Allenstown. Yeah, most people go like, hey, this pretends, if it's, like, let's read the agreement, make sure it says what you're saying it says, and then in that case, what's not the way?
Yes, so. Just one thing to throw out there, and I'm not sure if anybody's thought about this, I know we're in contract with Solar Garden. At the fire station, which would actually, I think we get a discount, would that hinder this agreement or not?
Yeah, the fire, most cases, and I was the fire station, are they gonna put solar on the roof or
It's
something?
already on it, it's a huge panel, they have a 20-year contract.
So there's some, and we'll see this when we go with the electric bills. The extent there's any part of your electric usage that is already addressed. We will, that is eliminate, lowers that number, exactly, right on. Generally speaking, well, you know, we're talking about many acres of land used for generation. Rooftop solar is great and fantastic, and I would encourage everybody to do it, even if it reduces the amount we can deliver, I mean, like, because that's a great way to use a roof, and you get benefits from it. It's a drop in the bucket of what we're doing, so we'll subtract that from the amount, as you said, exactly.
But I never avoided any type of contract you might sign with them if they have something that says no compete clause with certain things, so. So I just.
That's to look at.
Throw it out there for you guys, cause I
Would be
think it's amazing, and we kind of forget about it.
Would be unusual, but obviously you want to make sure there's no conflicting contracts, I'm not
I
good at that.
can't mention a conflict because we would be getting that savings on the other facilities. The fire department will be pulled out of your calculations.
I know that part of that contract is what they get from the fire station, and you were around when the contract is, whatever is fed there comes back to. Other municipal buildings like the Boys and Girls Club, so that's why I say is. You might wanna read over that contract before you commit to it to make sure that it's not. You're not kind of pushing against each other.
Plus, we'll check in the electric bills, make sure there's no double coverage, we don't want double coverage, that's exactly right.
I'm sorry, I've got a couple more and then.
It's great, appreciate it.
I was driving up 495 yesterday and I think it was Westford or Chelmsford. There's a solar field there.
Yeah,
We're all covered with snow.
yes.
What do you do?
So here's, that's a great question, and I mentioned that production will be less in the winter. That's one of the reasons why production is less in the winter, when with the snow covering the panels. The generation of the panels is greatly reduced until, you know, I think we said in a few days, get some melt. It's one of the, like. The solar panels are slanted to best face the sun, that also helps some of the snow slide off as things warm up. They tend to clear off quicker than the ground around them. But we build solar facilities across New Hampshire, we build in Maine, we build in upstate New York, a lot of snow. And it's, for me, very interesting how much accuracy there is built into average annual production of these facilities. So we got a high degree of confidence, and we need these facilities produced, we don't get our payback. That's our long-term partnership thing. If somebody would have sold these projects and said, hey, not our problem anymore, who cares? So if they're estimated differently, we gotta be on it because our business depends on it, and you're depending on us, we're depending on us.
Now, I understand, that we have a lot of these solar panels in the desert. And the glass, because the electric charge on the surface has a particular affinity for dust, they need to be clean. How do you take care of that?
That's a really good question, especially in different climates, they may have those kind of needs. For the projects that we install, the cost of cleaning the panels doesn't pay off. Pollen and dust and stuff like that does diminish the production, but not by such an amount that it makes sense for somebody to go hose it off or anything like that. We're like, hey, how much does it cost to have somebody hose it off? You say, how much can it cost to have somebody hose this off? And how often would you do it? All that other kind of stuff. But it doesn't pay off. If it did, we would really want to do it.
Now, if you put a solar array in Allenstown using 2026 technology.
Okay.
How long before that technology is out of date, where we're not getting what we should be getting with newer technology? How do you address that issue?
Well, that's a great question, and I want to provide an example of Beverly, Massachusetts was one of the first solar installations in the nation. It was like US Department of Energy involved and at that time, panels were so new. And people that, it wasn't like big business kind of stuff. The panels were manufactured in Waltham, Massachusetts, which you can't imagine happening. You go out like a huge facility now, and like you can't Massachusetts rents, you wouldn't build such a thing. But anyway, they were built while we have them in our office. We repowered the Beverly, repower, this we call, we update the technology, we call that repower. So we repowered the facilities in Beverly. We didn't build them, that was before our time, but Beverly said, hey, can somebody please update, just like you say, so we came and updated. So that's a decision that can be made at any point in time, you can say. This is crazy to let these panels continue to produce as they are. We get so much more of a new technology, then we can put in the new technology. You can make that decision anytime, but generally. The solar business works like this, you make a lot of investments upfront, you make these investments, you better pay off. And then once it's in production, you go like. Leave it be, do the scheduled maintenance, let the sun shine, leave it be for 20 years, and then in 20 years we go. Let it ride for another 5 years, so usually at the end of 20 years, there's options for everybody to work. Options to continue, lease on mutual agreement, this is not inside, mutual agreement. Let it ride, and most times when we get to those situations, the answer is gonna be let it ride. So, but if it came to this land could be used better, it's a question of land use. This land could produce more if we went and repower, just like we did Beverly, we'd say, let's go repower. But I love the history of it, it's kind of fun, I know. You guys don't have all the time in the world, otherwise to tell you the story about Beverly. Anyway, we will circle back on that, you say, but otherwise, stick to business, stick to business.
So how do we get in and how do we get out?
Okay, the in is, there's something called, oh, so it doesn't make sense, perfect. He's trying to hurry me. So, there's a group member agreement and you would say, hey, this agreement says what Malcolm says it was gonna say, then you go like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Get out is something where for the 20 years, we would like to deliver the benefits for 20 years. The agreement says you would please receive the agreements for the benefits for 20 years. At the end of 20 years, then you go, wait, we're the 5-year option, should we continue or not continue? So that's the planned end of the agreement is at 20 years.
So in between there. we
In
get out.
between, it's
Between there, we're getting free money.
in between.
Well, I understand that.
You said.
Things happen and
The agreement says you're gonna keep getting the free money for 20 years. If you say, we really wanna change that, go around that, but the thing that's important for us. Is that somebody at least take the payments, so you say, oh, here's somebody, other qualified party will take them. Then that's nothing to us, and we'll go like.
because my blood have to give away.
You don't want to, but you're like, municipalities, take my money.
State says I have to do this.
Have you ever had a municipality that said, no, we don't want your money, we're better off without it?
Nobody has ever said that, so, I will tell you, there's sometimes when the deliberation about it, just takes some time, but now, I think, I will tell you, since more and more municipalities are doing it, I think they feel safer about it. They go like, oh, well, if Northwood did it.
Well, and you're gonna send us this agreement, our town administrator can look at it, if we need to consult our lawyers or look into any other contracts we have ample time to do that research.
No, there's not time pressure on you, with the only caveat being is, if the Belmont projects go up, then you
We
will,
lose the free money.
you go to the Farmington projects, it's just, it's like you wanna.
Yeah.
It's, if I'm at the bus station, I wanna get on the first bus, but there's another bus coming, if that. If it comes a time where you're like, hey, there's enough, there's some other big electricity user like the state of New Hampshire. State of New Hampshire happens to be an offtake customer. All their offtake they're getting right now is Unitil, they're taking it in chunks. But if state of New Hampshire says, like Manchester did, we want more, then I would go, oh, they're gonna take up a lot.
Yeah.
Then we really wanna make sure we got in before they took up a lot, if that were the case.
So were there clauses in there, what if you get bought out by another company, what if you go out of business?
Yeah, if we get bought out by another company, I like to preface a lot of stuff in the unlikely events. The unlikely.
Nobody plans to get bought out, but it happens.
Fine. Fine, and then they would take all the obligations from the agreement. If they fail to meet the obligations, that is to continue to make payments to you.
Because it's assigned by law that they must.
Yeah, if they fail to continue their obligations, you would say, you all are not meeting your obligations, we would therefore like to exit and do something else, but. They would take on the obligations of continue to make the payments. The worst thing that can happen is somebody fails to make the payments, in which case you say, well, let's see if we can find somebody else to make payments to us.
I've just spent 41 years in quality assurance. I've been told a zillion times, nothing's gonna go wrong. And guess what? Something goes wrong.
That's why I also made sure nobody tripped over my cord. That's exactly the reason. Nobody tripped over the cord. You had another question, was, hey, what, it goes out of business, or what was, it was a related question, or some acquired, it goes out of business. Similar, goes out of business, then the payments, well. I know if it's not related to, here's another circumstance like this where. An owner operator ceased to operate, and the payments were interrupted until somebody else bought the assets of the no longer operating company. So once somebody buys the assets, if that should happen, then they will be obligated to make the payments. In the interim, if the payments fail to be made in accordance with the agreement, you could say, I would like to explore my options on getting somebody to make payments to me. That's, I think, that's what will be happening. But the worst case scenario is the payments stop coming. Alright, so there's no other benefit for service to you other than payments received monthly. And if, if that should fail and you don't get those payments, you kind of, it's unfortunate, but you're not worse off in by any case. Okay, that's, you don't, no investment outlay on the part of the town at any time. And we will also, we'll review electric bills if you like that. You can review the agreement, we'll review electric bills. And there's two things in the appendix, which I just want to show briefly. This is an illustration from Public Utilities Commission. So this is like a almost 100-page document. I think this is the best part of it. It's one thing. This is it. It just shows what we talked about. Distribution utility, that's Eversource. Host, that's Kearsarge. Dollars flow to the members, that is Allenstown. So, they make a payment to Kearsarge, we deliver the share to the members as per the agreement, which you may decide to review. And I will show you one more thing in the appendix. These are the statements you get with your monthly payments. One is the statement from Eversource that says, here's how much electricity was generated. Because that's the source of value from the revenue. And we're all gonna trust Eversource on that. We have independent meters that make sure Eversource reports covered, but they're good at electricity. So there's a number on here, this is how much was generated, and here's a statement generated by Kearsarge. It says, here's how much generated, here's your share. So on a monthly basis, somebody would get this, we'll provide this, we'll provide this, along with the check or ACH payment as you like. You say, all right, does this number correspond to that number according to our agreement? Does that number over there match the number on the check? If yes, done, same thing next month. The only other thing we need to do is ask for electric bills from the town once a year, because we're responsible to document, and we can be audited and penalized if we fail. If we deliver more credits than you're allowed to have per your usage. So we over deliver to you, then that's we're liable for penalty if we do that, so we're make sure not to do that.
Okay, let's slide up ahead, and you had mentioned earlier, so I understand that this benefits the municipal accounts.
Yeah.
And it shows on there residential customers, you had said the program for residential, when you send us, assuming the board votes to move forward with this, when you send us the agreement to review for municipal, could you send us information that we could pass along to residential customers, that there is a way that they could opt into this themselves?
The one thing that prevents us from serving residential, as this dollar show, thank you for asking that, is the state says for projects, I don't know why they decided this, projects 1 to 5 megawatts, that's what we operate, can only go to the public entities. Less than 1 megawatt can go to residents and businesses. Because less than 1 megawatt could go to them. The program is gonna be the same. The challenge is you gotta find, which we don't have, projects, facilities that are less than 1 megawatt, and I don't know anybody who's really going to. I don't have a lot of residents to participate is costly.
Yeah.
And I know others who do that in other states, but I don't know
So
anybody.
technically, it's a possibility within the law, but it's just really not feasible.
And economically, it's not really attractive, you know? I think there's like, you know, boutique situations where somebody says, oh, I love the town and I wanna do something that benefits the residents and the, you know, that's more likely than somebody who's really gonna make it work as a business. So they may, you know, hey, rules can change on purpose, yeah, at the time being, it's not a really attractive. It's even folks that 1 megawatt is too small, because you get economies from going bigger. And then if you say 1 megawatt's small, I don't get the economies anymore, plus I got the burden of recruiting residential and call center for residents and education. It's pretty heavy,
Okay.
yeah, I would love to.
I'd like to share the break to the taxpayers. I mean, it helps them by us lowering our energy that they are currently putting the bill for, so
Yes,
they are benefiting.
well, thank you for all the, for those questions, I hope that I provided information that is of use to you. If you'd like, I can share that group net meter agreement. And at any point in time, tabulate electric bills to determine last 12 months usage, plus provide a nice little report.
Do we need to vote in order for him to send us the agreement, get the ball rolling on that? Would we get that information and then vote to execute?
Sure.
Just forward me the draft agreement, I can forward it to the board and then they can discuss whether they want to continue.
Will do.
Okay, one more question?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pete.
Sorry,
Yeah.
does this include the school district, the new ACS, or is that a separate?
They're a separate district. We're talking just town, I believe.
Just
So-
municipalities, not schools.
Schools can participate, if you have decision-making authority on behalf of the school. Okay.
Well, we don't have a school board.
But we could,
To the school.
Yeah.
that's probably our largest, probably the largest user, it's not, don't you think?
We got a lot of streetlights.
If there's any.
Yeah, I mean, for the-
Well,
I
I
can
can
find you contact yet.
Okay.
John, if we go as far as putting the bills together, can we make sure the streetlights are included? Cause I know that's not a monthly bill. I believe they come in quarterly.
And that's a different format, we can count, I know we can count the electricity for streetlights in the number. So we'll count every bill that you can possibly think of or scrape together. We'll include a number, yeah. Right, models, well, thank you all very much, I really
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
your
in.
time.
Good information.
My pleasure. Nice place. You'll have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Best stay along, watch the ice. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you.
Thanks again, Mr.
My
Bliss.
pleasure.
Stay warm and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Will do. Likewise, enjoy the snow and ice, if you're a skater or something or anything like that. I hope it's, Stay put.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Thanks.
Good night now, my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Right, so Eric, if I do. So I've been talking with John, as we get close to the end of the budget year. And we were talking about encumbrances for the year, and I talked today about where we're at with the budget, predicting out end of year stuff and week away, but picking up on some of the things that we have coming or paid for, just to make sure we're where we need to be, right? It's one there. So as we get to the end of the year, in fact, I know, it looks like at this point, we're gonna be about 93.9% spent. And that I had one other one that came in today, just putting in all the numbers in regards to money tracker, versus the town's one, which is sometimes a little bit delayed when by getting payroll stuff information in there. So as we get to the end of the year, there is gonna be some funds left over in the fire department budget. So what I'm looking to do is, the other day, when I drove into the bay, they're starting to have to get out and manually push the door opener for the ambulance bay. So overhead door came in to do an emergency repair because a roller fell out of the door and the bottom plate was hinging of coming out of the bottom of the door. So I had overhead door do an evaluation of the door. And they said that, the doors are 23 years old. The openers are 23 years old and the transponders that are on the door are 23 years old. So I asked them for a quote to replace them and they said, we have to replace them and we have to replace the motors because of the age. So, they gave me a quote to replace every door, the original door, which needed $1,800 worth of repairs, was emergency fixed, I think for 600. To make it open and stay where it is now, but we still have the issue where we have to drive up on the door, basically, open the door, sometimes manually. So, they quoted me to have the doors replaced, and if you're looking at the overall budget and we have left of the year, I think it's gonna be like $55,000. In the prediction by the end of the year left over, so. With that being said, two things we looked at, in the CIP, which I'm not sure whose side I am on, what this, I usually see that CIP stuff too. Is one of the capital improvement things we had looked at also was the front ramp of the apparatus bay is deteriorating fast, and what we're noticing is there's a pooling of water in the front of the station. And on top of that is all the test pits for the state or for that remediation that's there are all starting to.
Fuel,
For the fuel from Mullane's old house, where we used to be there from the fire station. A lot of those are all coming around the outside, and you can see the slope of the bay, right where the last parking spot is into the first one where the water is pooling right there. And a lot of the dirt is pooling right there because it seems like it's running kind of sort of down off the street and then in and off the apparatus bay when the water comes off of the roof. So we had them price out last year, a quote to redo the whole parking lot, and that was gonna be something that we were gonna look at next year, to have them fixed before it causes more damage. So I looked into a quote for that also to have just the front ramp fixed. To be able to stop the damage. We sealed that, 4 years ago now, I was a fire chief in 2021, so I think they spent $6,000 and we sealed it and we were able to seal most of it. But it's been 4 years now, and we've gone pretty far, so. So I have two quotes, and just looking to see if, we can repair these items now. Like before the end of the year budget, or like John and I talked about covering, but if we can get the work done now, it would be good to maybe take one of those things off the list that we need to do. And fix the doors. So I have two quotes, the quote to take care of the doors on the fire station, that is new openers, new maintenance on every single door, which is replacing rollers, replacing the transponders, is $14,400. So we're looking to have that approved so we can get that work done to fix that, because we used to do it across the street, push the button and you can open the doors and get ready, now you can't. So. The second one is to have the front ramp. We had a bunch of people came out, Crooks of Paving was one of the ones that came out with us, and we talked at length. We had Young's come out and GMI came out. But Hooks of Paving is more than just fixing the pavement and putting pavement on there. They would have to grind out all the asphalt and put materials underneath it to re-grade the slope to make it so the water wasn't going towards the fire station. It would be kind of swelling away and going down to the catch basin, which is at the right side of the parking lot, there's a catch basin right there that catches all that water that runs off, tries to catch it. So that is $37,500. And that is repaving, but it's also grinding it down and putting in 6 inches of material there to help with the stability of the tower, which is 80,000 pounds, and they equated that to a lot of that weight is what's gonna cause more damage on those test pits that are there. So just looking forward to seeing if you guys would be interested in taking care of these projects now.
So 37 and 14,000 roughly, and you said you have about 50,000 left.
By 50 almost. In my projections right now, with the budget information here, the town listed at 141,000 left, but that's not accurate because some of the things are not. So I've taken all the expenditures that I have put in for, or we've spent money on and forecasted it out. And I'm going very, very high at saying we have 55,000 left. I think we have more than that, but I'm trying to be conservative saying we don't, because with payroll coming through, it's been a little bit delayed. I forecasted out what I usually spend on payroll. And basically, I think I'm factoring in an extra payroll, which is 22,000 usually on every 2 weeks. So realistically, I think we have 77,000, but I don't want to spend that. I'd like to get that 51,900 is what the total is for both of the project. Yeah.
John, the town budget as a whole, how is that looking?
It's still in good shape.
So if departments, because I'm guessing there may be other departments that want to encumber or try to, spend their money. They should be okay to do that. You don't see there being an issue where.
Not right now. Unless there's something unanticipated that comes up, yes.
As far as it shouldn't create an issue.
And that's why I've been working with John closely to chat with him about like where everything else is at along with us, so we can make these decisions. So, and there was a quote to finish both lots on the other side too, which was way less, it was 25,000 additional. But that's something I think that we can hold off on until we either find out how much we have left or make a plan for next year to take care of those, because the only other thing we have to deal with is the catch basin in the back of the parking lot that is holding up, but it does have a pretty significant crack. What that does for your MS and all that stuff running with the grass going there,
Yeah,
so.
but
that would be
that's
something.
pennies I mean, we do them for under $800 in house.
Yeah.
So that's not an expense.
Okay. Well, that's what I have to propose to see if you guys want to move forward.
So the paving you talked about, that can be done now?
No, so what we do is there's a contract that we have.
So we
puts it-
sign the contract, a lot of the money comes.
Encumber the funds and.
Yeah, so
The couple things that I would throw in at it is that I would seriously consider, especially if the company is not in town, doing the side parking lots at the same time. Because it's gonna be another $30,000 or $40,000 next year to have them remobilize and come back down. They're not gonna do it
yeah,
for the same money, so if you can get them done for 20 or 22.
so it's $25,900 to have them do it, there are 2 lots, and that is grinding them down, putting the shim coat on, and then taking care of the catch basins.
And the other, we'll open bids later, but there might be one more company you might want to reach out to.
Okay.
Because their prices have been
Yeah.
stellar.
So they did, like I said, we did all 3, and we contacted them, and they were, a lot of them didn't wanna, they were doing the work of prepping the front
Mhm.
for the drain off was their big thing, is that we don't know what's under there, we don't know where we're gonna get to. So
Would it be advantageous, is there any way to combine this project with the one you just put to it? I know it's after the fact, you've already.
So what I've found in the world of paving is parking lots are priced differently than paving or road paving, because it's multiple pulls. It's just they're usually harder, tighter, and it's just but that's such a big parking lot in the front of the building that it might be something that we can roll in together.
if
Could
there's something.
you look into it? I'm just looking for cost savings for sure.
Sure.
If it presents.
I mean, we might be able to save enough to do the wings, for a discounted price.
If we have the funds, I'm sorry.
You have one more meeting that you could vote for the contract to encumber the funds this year for the paving, so there is 2 more weeks.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll get in contact with you,
Yeah,
cause like I said, it was 25,000 and that wasn't.
Yeah,
apart.
and I think that's a mistake. honestly, in the paving world. I think that's a total
I agree
mistake.
with you. That's why when you talked to John, I had said, I'd love to do both.
Right.
But I don't.
And I mean, if the money isn't there, but if it isn't, then we might be able to cut back if the money's not there. You know what I mean? I mean, at the end, if the money can't be found, then maybe it can be cut back a little bit.
Okay.
You know, and the adjustment can be made that last week. We'll know a
So
little bit more when that comes along.
I'll be on Wednesday, that part I'll get with you, I mean, we can get some things better on.
Do you have what you put out for bid? What you asked
John
for?
Centrally has it.
Okay,
So,
well, just have them send it to me and I'll ship it out.
all right, the first one, the doors can be done anytime, I would love to get it done sooner than later, because sometimes they're driving at the door and they forget what the door didn't close. And they drive off and we've got heating outside, actually cost last night, so I don't wanna heat the outside. So that's $14,400 to have one door come in and take care of all that maintenance.
I have to put it in. I move that the board approve. Repairing, replacing doors, the overhead doors in the controllers, correct, at the firehouse. Vendor's overhead door, the amount requested was $14,400. I move that we approve the sign.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Scott, aye.
All right, and last but not least, I know we talked about it at it's just an update, Peter on the bucket list, and we talked about it at the school meeting, but good news for us, it sounds like. Once we get everything up and running at the school and we can get finally in there, then he will probably move his head office over to Allen's. Set up in Manchester, so.
you guaranteed.
Yeah, so by the conclusion, we have to have quarterly meetings, and I have to get them last week, and we sat down for a few hours and talked about the future, so. As soon as it's done, they can get their satellite class scheduled for March here, if not around then, so and he'll bring the AT&T class.
I'm working hard.
That would be good for us, so I just wanted to give you guys some positive news, so
Excellent.
that's all I have.
Right,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Chief.
We'll go back and do.
Next is the draft of the warrant articles.
So I gave you yet another news round. This is how this process works and the work that we've done.
You're like a novelist.
And you'll see less and less of yellow as we get more final numbers and votes put in. Things are yellow, are placeholders, just as a reminder. All of the amendments are still placeholders right now. I heard from Michael O'Mara. Planning board has to go over some different language on one or two of them, so until they get final language up, they're going to stay in flux. Town operating budget's been updated with votes, sewer operating budget. The special project non-capital reserve for the sewer. Town contingency fund, we cannot extend it. I did hear that definitively, so that's how it has since then.
That's fine, like I said, at least it gets it out there, people can say, what is this about, and even if they vote no. Maybe they'll prepare for next year.
And Article 18, 19, and 20 were tabled at Saturday's meeting. Pending further information, Scott, you were correct. That is honorably discharged, that was a typo.
Can't believe that language got through.
That's good.
Just give it to the worst soldiers. Sure.
But so at the public hearing, after the public hearing, the budget committee can vote to recommend or not recommend on that. Article 19 is likely to be amended on the floor of the deliberative session. And will be and Article 20 was also tabled.
And I got a question about that. I remember some years back, and the law may have changed. So we did run into an issue where our school budget at the deliberative was lowered by $1 million. And the budget committee and board of selectmen, our school board at that time, were upset because they had voted to recommend the warrant article as originally written. once it was amended, their recommendation had to stay, even though they did not recommend that. Has that law been changed?
I don't know, I'm not, I have to look into that. I only know that the budget committee can make one final vote after the public hearing.
But not the,
No,
so my mind was just kind of blown
Those are-
away, thinking it down the road, because anything can happen at the deliberative, they don't know what it's gonna be amended to. The recommend, it just made no sense to me, but okay. I just didn't know if there was something I didn't know that I was.
I have not heard. So those three will still need to be voted on for recommended or not recommended at the public hearing. And once that's set, that's what goes to the deliberative.
Yeah.
And numbers can be changed, purpose and intent cannot.
Yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, the recommendation cannot be that, so.
You
it's
can,
really a.
you can make it advisory only, which again. Kind of takes the teeth out of anyone.
Yeah.
The vote on something, but other than that, the recommendations stay. That's the update on the current. Budget worksheet, I did not give you any copy, nothing really has changed. You folks all voted on that at the budget committee hearing on Saturday. Future town hall. Scott, that's your job.
Sounds like by all means. You were doing great.
Peter, you're right.
We at this future town hall committee. So, we're making progress.
Yay.
So, all the concrete cutting and the block work of the existing holes has been completed. The invoices were sent to John today for payment. Armand and his merry men volunteered to do some priming of those block walls because they just, you know, cement, well, we need to prime them and then when we get a final cover,
Those the sound.
to seal them, so that's still on for Thursday,
Oh, yeah,
so we'll do that.
so did you get the stuff, yeah.
I got 5 gallons of primer and I got a couple things.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have the other.
We bring out two.
Yeah, I got some basic rollers. So that's on for Thursday. We have a meeting with another architect tomorrow, I do, before our meeting with Doug Proctor from H.O. Turner.
Jill Turner.
Meeting with him first for the bathroom ideas. From Mullane seems to think that we can get a good deal with him just to do the bathroom, so we'll talk to him tomorrow, we'll have that at the meeting tomorrow, present what we want to say. Let's see, I'm working on, we got an initial quote for the interior doors from Great State Glass, we tweaked the quote a little bit, so I'm going back to the previous two people that actually looked at it, so they can update their quote, so we're on the same page. And that may take a little time, but working on that. The only thing, part of these interior door quotes, were building some interior walls. Would be a little bit less expensive or for us to either contract or for the new building inspector and I to build some of these interior walls. That they can just set the door in at a cost savings. Basically, we'll present tomorrow our committee meeting that we're gonna do the cost estimate for the two interior walls for the pre-K, there's one in the main hallway and then one further in. We'd like to get those built next week when the school is shut down, we can't be building stuff with kids running around in there.
Yeah.
So at least those two walls is our plan to get those two done next week if we get, if we get the, and Todd has to come up with a site, maybe a cost. So if we get those done next week, I think we'll be ahead of it, so we can actually block that off. I've been spending a lot of time last week when we have the concrete cutters in there because granted, they're not gonna go into there, but just to make that area secure and keep an eye on them. Once we get that wall up, we can put a piece of plywood over there and they're secure. And if we have other people in and out of the building,
How many hours a week are you again?
I'm 15.
It's just probably getting out, it's about 15 hours.
I did a lot of volunteer hours last week.
Yeah, there's just listening to
Which
your-
is fine, I haven't done anything this week, last week was 16, but I had to be in there with those contracts, I can't just let them.
Yeah.
Every hour was a question, do you want this, do you want that, and so. That's fine, I
Is
think,
this something that we should visit as a board, though? If he is regularly gonna be putting in 20-25 hours, is this something we should look at adjusting? I don't want you volunteering, it's great that you're a wonderful.
I think,
If we have the money there, I would like to.
yeah, I mean, truthfully, last week was, cause we had two different sets of contractors there, I don't see us having a lot of, I mean, I guess it depends. At least through this year, we should be fine, now maybe next year, for a few months, if we, you know, if you
Could
want
you track your volunteer time, please, the extra time
I
that you're
can
putting
do
in,
that.
so that we can
I can do
take a
that.
look at that and see.
But you know, me as a citizen that, I really wanna get this project done, so, and there's certain things that has to get done.
And from what I've heard around town and from you at the past couple meetings, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Really, things are moving right along, people are noticing what you're
Okay,
doing.
good, well, I appreciate that. I did, on that, so get the walls. I did have somebody come in to estimate the railings, just the interior railings, cause we really don't know what we're doing outside yet, cause we might have to build a ramp or two and. But they were willing just to give us a quote on the inside, so and I have another person probably coming Wednesday to look at that too, so. You know, I kind of explained to her and them that it's really not a higher priority for us, but it does need to get done and they're willing to do it. A lot of these, like the concrete guys, they said they like the inside work during the winter, so surprisingly, they're like, oh yeah, we'll come look at it next week, you know, so that's good. The only other thing is, I know Ron, Adolfo and Eric, we're looking at the IT.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, I think in the next few weeks, we can look at that, because at some point, we have to make it fireproof, we have to build the walls from the ceiling up. But we really need to have all the wires in and HVAC or whatever we're doing done before we do that, because once we seal that up, we don't wanna be poking holes through it again, so. So that's on my, you know, that's on the, I did kind of, I did bring it to you, like a scheduled timeline for the next 4 months of what we should be doing every month, just to kind of keep us going, but,
When is our goal to make the transition into the new building? Are we thinking April, May, or
Mid-year.
maybe June? Would be more realistic. I get asked that question a
Yeah,
lot, and I tell people,
I've told town clerk and everybody that gets asked mid-year.
mid-year.
I'd rather be a little generous and get in early.
Yes, and have people saying, yes.
well, my goal, in my mind, again, is, EDC is planning on a townwide open house early May, like May 2nd, I think. You know, even if we're not in the building, it should be far enough along that we could showcase what we've been doing and be safe.
Perfect opportunity.
And so that's in my mind is May 2nd, we need to have this done. More so too, also for firemen in March. Now, we may be able to let them in a little bit ahead of time. If maybe the bathroom's not totally completed or whatever, I don't know.
So I agree with Kathleen, I think that you really should track your volunteer hours, and if you think you're doing hours and you need to do that, I agree with you, I think that if you can.
I'll keep track. But that's, you know, again, I kind of like having a timeline because, you know, if we don't have a timeline, we really didn't have the last 6 months, we got nothing done, but. That's all I really have. The only other thing too is RV Lewis and the HVAC, John was kind of handling, and I think they're, RV Lewis looks like they're almost done.
They're almost done.
A mess to clean up a little bit, but,
They won't be able to get the security system online because of the new door that has yet to be installed for the new gym entrance. So they have to put a security system on that door, but we don't have the door in yet, so that means.
can I mention? Sure. One thing, actually, when Granite State Glass gave us their estimate, they included that exterior door as a separate estimate. Separate project. There might be something if we wanna move faster with security.
That would be beneficial.
Just
And
that,
I think it was 8 or 9,000 for that door.
eight something, I think.
Yeah,
Why don't we see if we can move
Yeah.
that along?
that would probably be helpful, cause then we really get,
Then you're able to button up the exterior of the building,
Yeah.
which is what RV Lewis needs to get the security system.
I can call and see if they can do that separately, and if they say, yeah, we can do that in a few weeks, we'll get that. I'll get into the 3D tomorrow and. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Harrington, we await your words of wisdom.
We had a meeting with the sewer department, they were the folks questioning the Empower move. And after the meeting, they came away very comfortable and are now in agreement to move forward. If the board still wants to move forward with Empower, I'll accept that forward.
I would absolutely like to. I think it's in the best interest of all the employees, and I'm glad that they were able to get their questions answered and feel good about it.
Okay?
Yeah.
One expenditure that had previously been approved, I think it was at the last meeting, was New England Patent Corps. You approved $17,500 for the expenditure.
Yeah.
However, when I got the invoice today, it came in at $16,500. We were not counting for the $1,000 reduction because we were taking care of the disposal of all the old
Yeah.
material. So I need a new vote for the board to approve $16,500. The check has already been cut from capital reserve, so we will end up returning $1,000 to the trustees to put back in the fund. But I would like to vote to approve the $16,500 for New England Cut and Core, which is a change from the original.
So.
Right on time.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Kathleen,
Laura.
Scott, aye.
That's all I had, and I have one more vote needed to expend out of the capital reserve fund for the new municipal building for KPMB Enterprises for plumbing work done as part of relocating the doors. They had to come in and move heating registers in order to make the holes.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Kathleen,
Diane,
Laura.
Scott,
I'm done, thank you.
all right. Chad?
Yeah.
I know you're not on the agenda, but it looked like you might have something.
Yeah, so in talking with John, we thought it would be a good idea to try to encumber some money to do some paving because we're greatly behind at this point with the current budget. We kind of threw everything aside. And in talking, we thought that the best place to spend that money would be on River Road. Because that piece of asphalt is base but without a top. The top should have went on this year. If you look at it down towards the state shed end of it, the center seam stuff. And that's a product of leaving base coat on top.
Too long.
Yeah, especially on a road with truck traffic. If we did it on Reserve Street, we got away with it for a couple of years because the only truck that goes up and down is maybe the oil truck and the garbage truck once a week.
how much did it cost? How much did we spend to put the base down?
We're over $200,000 into it. So I would prefer not to grind that up to the 200,000, then $200,000 profit. So we put together a quick bid, we sent it out to the basically to the usual suspects and a couple others. We got three bids back. We got one from Advance, one from GMI, and one from Pipe Industries. You didn't have time to do a spreadsheet.
So are we encumbering money from your budget, or is this from excess of the town as a whole?
Overall,
Overall budget, because I was
as the
guessing.
trend
you don't-
continues towards the end of the year, we should have enough.
And you took this into account with Eric's request, and perhaps maybe any of you might have received.
Now, what happens is you
Police
can go
department.
ahead and encumber money. If you don't have it, then
You
you
don't.
don't have it to spend.
Okay,
So this is more of a place marker with this amount of money. So that that
That's
doesn't
good.
roll back into the general fund, it's rolled forward into 26. But if you don't have enough to roll forward, you know,
but what the fire department's doing is looking to expend the money in this year, right?
For the doors.
Yeah.
for the doors, paving,
Okay.
paving will be next year as well.
Okay, so that would work in
So,
concert with this.
This paving project and their paving project would have a contract signed by the end of this year in order to encumber it.
Yeah.
Then if there is money allowed and available, that would roll forward into 26. If there's less, then you make adjustments on how much you roll.
Sounds good, thank you.
So typically, and so the scope of the work would be, basically topping River Road from the state shed, including horse harness, that little section of horse harness, all the way to the bridge.
Okay.
But at that point, I would prefer to, or what we priced out was to shim and overlay from that to the new section on it, or the latest section that was paved in 17, somewhere around there, 16, 17.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah, I wasn't, it must have been 17 or 18, because I was with the sewer commission, but not. But yeah, it's gone by that fast. Up until that point, and to include Wall Street with a shim and overlay, because it's just a short street. If we're going by it and we don't, it'll, much like Eric's sides.
Yeah.
But much like his side, it'll cost us way more money to go back and as opposed to putting it into this, tying it into this project. So total estimated tonnage is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2,500 ton. The project is just over 1.25 miles. The three bids that we got, like I said, one was from Pike, one was from GMI, and one was from Advanced. Basically, when we look at these bids, I ignore what they estimate for tonnage. I look more at what we are paying per ton, because the job is gonna be done the same way. And estimating shims and stuff like that it's guessing. Because you kind of have to go out and kind of read the road and see how many grooves and whatnot's in it, how much you think it's gonna cost us or take to fill them. The top is easy, the top is very straightforward, it's measured, there's a calculation.
How thick
Usually-
is that, the top layer?
So out there, we'll do 1.5 inches compacted. And again, it's more or less for the truck traffic, you know, we wanna make sure that we have 3.5 inches of.
Yeah.
Some tops are, you know, an inch would be fine, but I just think there we would, with the amount of traffic on that road.
Yeah.
We might as well do it once and let it last us for 20 years as opposed to trying to cheap out at this point.
Well, we got all the school buses on that.
Yeah, and then Advance uses the pit
Oh.
off of Dodge Road. You know, the logging company comes in off of the state end of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's more traffic in it, you know, and then there's a couple tractor trailer trucks that visits the farm on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So there's some more truck traffic than
Yeah,
I realized
Yeah.
when we started working up there and seeing it.
yeah,
So the three bids come in, GMI was 94.50 per ton. Pike Industries was 92.25 per ton. And Advance was 84.95 per ton. So it kind of excited me because I mean, Advance's numbers are cheaper than we paid this year for. So,
well, it's nice we can use somebody in town.
and that's, yeah, no, it totally, I mean, you know, I can attest to how much Advance helped them in
Yeah.
just moving this,
Yeah.
the school bus. So that the total estimate for that project comes in at $219,503.50.
Is that unusual for Pike to be bidding on something this small?
And the Pike gives us a bid usually every year, and they're usually the highest bid, so you know, I was really surprised that they were as low as they were. But they bid out a lot of little stuff, and it seems to be more and more. Even Continental has done some local work, which is not typical. So I think a couple of them are stepping on each other's feet. I know some of the smaller companies are going after some of the bigger state work. So I think some of the bigger companies are coming in and trying to squash down the.
I mean,
Oh.
Pike's had that for years.
Right.
Wow.
So I think they're I think there's a little infighting amongst them a little bit. There were like territories, and I think some of the smaller guys are getting too big for the bridges. In the eyes of the big guys, you know. So, anything else that I can show you guys the bids if you want, we can pass it around, and that way they kind of get an idea. The other thing you'll see on that is the trimming of the keyways, what those are is where they cut, where you need a driveway or we need the end of the road, we cut that key. So that we can put 1.5 inches of pavement into the new road without a bump.
Yeah.
And it can be very expensive. There's a lot of trimming involved on that job, there's like 2,100 feet of trimming or something like that. So it's bid out by the foot. And I've seen it as high as $22 a foot. And as low as $1 a foot, and I think Advance was $3 a foot in that. So.
Yeah.
And the other guys were 6-ish. And
Yeah, yes, it's. Yeah, Advance is pretty and the other. It's.
eight. So yeah, it makes sense like that.
Yeah. What's the correct language for the motion? I'm happy to make it, I just. Is it this? A motion to encumber $219,503.50. For the purpose of paving River Road.
Of course, I'm in Wall
Or
Street.
Harness Horse Road and Wall Street.
2019 503,
.50.
and that's for river
Yeah, Wall Street.
or Ireland.
Or Iron Source.
I know, it is, there's both.
One side says Harness Source and the last says Harness.
I think I could probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
It does say it's what, the
What's hardest, it goes.
Yes. The road, that's what I was thinking. Road's 200 feet long, so you can only read both ends. That's French from the States.
I kept saying, hi, excellent. And then I see, all right, so river, HH, and what else?
Wall Street.
Wall Street. So we make a motion to encumber $219,503.50 of the 2025 budget for paving in 2026.
So moved.
Oh, I'll second from there. Yeah.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, aye?
Right.
Means I'm gonna be doing a lot more talking.
I know.
Well, if you want it right, I mean.
I mean, we can do, yes, please, thank you, yeah. And
That's
that's
how
how,
Cliff. God, moving along. Yes, thank you.
you're very welcome. Other than that, that's it. Yeah. A lot of plowing.
I bet. Sandy yourself.
So. New business.
Yes, I believe I need a document from that. Actually, I do two from that. John, did you print that update that I gave you on the documents that I've been working on?
I didn't, I'm sorry, I just didn't have time.
It kicked me off my computers. And you said, it didn't have to come from, you would need it. Alright. First we'll do this one. So at the last meeting, I made a motion to extend John Yorkton's contract. And at the time, there was some discussion and Kathleen, you suggested that we review the contract before we move forward. So I did that. I think you sent it to everybody. I reviewed the contract and so I didn't see where any changes except for nothing in the contract that I saw, and I believe John So you didn't see anything either. So at the time, the question was, what are we trying to prevent? So my thought, my motivation for wanting to do this is because, John came into, we know the situation he came into, he did an outstanding job bringing in, new people. We've got new people, I believe almost every position is filled. And I think at this point, with so many new people, I think the stability, the leadership, the consistent leadership that we have now at Town Hall is important for retaining those new people. And I think John, in fact, I know John brings that certainly to the town. And I think, his contract would be up in 27. This is to extend it another 3 years. And about the only thing we can offer John, because in a normal business environment, there would be bonuses, there would be salary increases. He did not request a salary increase. So the only thing that I see that we can offer him is job security if he so chooses to keep it. So that's
If John's contract was up to date, I would absolutely renew it. You are doing a fantastic job. But I will let you know that at the time that this contract was drafted, the board advertised the TA position, we interviewed for the TA position. But even the partner in a law firm that sat on this board said, I don't know enough about contract law and employment contracts, we should hire somebody. So we actually paid MRI substantially to go through the negotiating process. And this contract is pretty cookie cutter to protect the best interests of the town and taxpayers as well as the employee. And it's usually pretty standard language to have it be 3 years. It's an added protection for the town. John has said he's not looking to leave or go anyplace else to the best of my knowledge. So I just don't see messing with this as even achieving any result. If anything, it potentially disempowers future board members. It also takes out a safety net that's built in intentionally by people that we paid to draft this contract that protects the taxpayers. You never know what the future is gonna hold, and that's why these are drafted in 3-year increments. Again, it's pretty standard language across the board, most towns. Town administrators are familiar with that. So to me, I just see that we're doing more harm than good. The other thing is the fact that we're not looking at a raise or any changes. That is another important part of contract negotiations. I think that the board, even if we extended this, if you guys decide to extend it in 2027, I would hope that they would take a look at the salary and what is being paid, but they may not. They may say, we already have a contract in place till 2030. My opinion is John has a much stronger negotiating leg to stand on himself in 2027 to say, my contract is gonna be up. This is what's happened with town administrator salaries. This is the list of my accomplishments over the last 3 years. Hopefully at that point, we're not in a default budget. And we could actually address that with potentially a raise in salary if the market warrants it and if his performance has warranted it, which I have no doubt that it would. So to me, again, I would hire you in a heartbeat, John, for 20 years, but we paid a professional for this contract. I think they did a great job. They gave the taxpayers and us what we paid for and asked them to do. And I think it does a disservice to the taxpayers and to John for us to just create our own terms because now we think we know better than our professionals did.
Well, no, so nothing here would be changed. So in fact, there is some language in here about in each subsequent year and in an amount no less than the average percentage increase given to other town employees. So there is built in, we just didn't give COLAs this year, so he didn't get that. The other thing that I noticed in here was in section 12. The Board of Selectmen shall conduct an annual performance review of the town administrator in accordance with the town's personnel policy. During the first year,
Trish has brought it up.
the town and administrator agreed to meet at 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, none of that's been done, so. John's been upholding his part of the contract, we didn't,
Trish has brought it up at past meetings.
but it didn't happen. So we didn't do it. So we need to do it. I see what you're saying, but my concern is securing and at least giving John I know we pay professionals to do this and other than changing the date, see that.
But that is a safety net that they built in for the town, for the future boards and for the town taxpayers.
Right.
Anything could change. John, you're doing a wonderful job, but we don't know what the future holds. And when you take out our ability to reassess that situation, who knows where we're gonna be in 2027? Maybe something has changed where that board and the taxpayers, we say, this is not to our best advantage, we really need to make a change here. But we can't because we've locked ourselves in. A previous board decided they were gonna make that decision for us into 2030. For me, it's a power grab. We're trying to take authority that we shouldn't have, and we're trying to take a safety net away from the taxpayers. I understand you
So-
think it's doing a benefit, but I just don't see it that way. I don't see it as a benefit.
I mean, I see it as, you know, we brought him on for 3 years, and that's fine, because you really don't know what you're getting until you're here, right?
And his performance has been exemplary.
So
I
he's been
understand
here
that.
for,
I'm not saying he's a bad.
right, not just a year and a half, I think we have enough data, we have enough experience with John, that I think at this point, like I said, the only thing we can offer him at this point is job security. You know, because when he left, it's like, well, I've only got a year left on my contract. Somebody says, hey, John, you know, we'd love to have you here because we know your experience and your work ethic and like.
But even if you change the term of this, he could still, he could.
Oh, he could, right,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
He
employment
could
at
still-
will, he could leave at any time, and there are steps in here where we could not. We could, you know, break the agreement also.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
if you guys
I-
vote to do this, it's not like I feel like Allenstown is gonna go down the drains because that's
No,
not my
I know.
point, this is.
I just
we
wanna
wait for this
secure,
contract. I think it's good, and I think John has a better chance of negotiations, even if that Kohler, when a contract comes up and you're renegotiating and he's deciding to stay. I just know how I would feel if it was me, I would prefer to have that leg to stand on and go through that negotiation. But maybe John doesn't, maybe other people don't feel that way, but I would, I feel like you're giving up valuable leverage.
yeah, I was gonna have John's away again.
About,
That's not, I know, stop.
This time, done.
And you know, you said you'd rather not, I understand.
Well, seeing as that I did not bring this subject up, I'm still, as Kathleen says, a year and a half into a 3-year contract. I'm not concerned that at the end of 3 years, I wouldn't be in a good position to renegotiate. I somewhat agree with Kathleen. By increasing this another 3 years, I do lose some negotiating leverage if I were to try to get an increase in salary.
Which
Other than-
taxpayers don't kill me, but I think you should.
Other than relying on an annual COLA step increase. And I also understand your point of view of trying to extend 3 years to allow me to have more time to consider staying here rather than worrying in another 6 months, I've got 1 year left, what am I gonna do? I don't think that's helping.
Good job.
I've been doing this a while. It comes back to you four.
I don't wanna take away any leverage you may have to renegotiate salary, I don't wanna do that to you.
As
I mean, you're doing
And I
Kathleen,
honestly,
excellent
I can't
job.
imagine any board at the end of this contract not wanting to renew you. You have done an
Kathleen did ask me the question, did I have any plans? No, I did not. I mean, I live right next door, 12 minutes away. I think there's still a lot of work here to do. I think the staff is outstanding. We've got a lot of new folks that have come in. I see nothing but improvement coming up in the next year or so. We have the main major project with AES going. I've certainly got enough work to do to for the
Too
next
much work to do.
2 to 3 years anyway. While I'm humbled by your offer to extend 3 years. I'm not worried at this point.
Okay. I am, but okay. I just think that
That's my opinion.
the leadership, the stability that you bring to town hall is important with the new people that we have. When
Every,
people are concerned about the leader and the leader is scary. People just.
every new board obviously can change direction. It happens all the time. I've seen it over the years. You get certain individuals in, they wanna move in a different direction, and the whole town moves in a different direction.
Right,
That's what's happening.
which is such a good, on such a good trajectory, I wanna make sure we.
With elected officials, that's the risk we take.
But to that point, I think you really do an exemplary job. I cannot imagine somebody being elected to this board and being the first thing they're gonna do to clean up town is get rid of him. Like, I just don't see that happening.
If, what I would recommend in order to move this conversation forward. If at the end of 2 years, you feel strongly that you'd like to increase the contract and not wait till the third year. You could always revisit this. You don't have to wait until the third year.
And really, we should, because it's in August, I mean, we should be thinking about it right at during that budget
You
season.
really should,
Yeah.
if with a contracted person, about a year out, you should start discussions on what your thoughts are. Cause it takes that long. You know how long it took, yeah. You know how long it took to research and
Yeah,
interview people for this position. My recommendation would be starting here.
Okay. See yourself changing, you guys.
now that didn't work, Diane's gonna come in with the cheese.
Thanks, John. You know, but
I just saw that.
the town continues to change, and I think for the most part, going in the right direction. We have
Right.
future investments here, we're still awaiting full tax revenue from our two big projects. And so as long as there aren't folks sitting in this room who are gonna spend money like drunken sailors financially, we should be in a really good position. And really like John to be here for that.
Yep.
As we go through those changes, we got McDonald's coming in the spring, I think. If they can finish their negotiations, Hillsbrook is still a year and a half out, before they would start something.
Second unit, yeah.
And we don't know what the plans are. I don't know, Chad, do you talk to Tebow at all about the hill?
They got like, I don't know, I think like 1.4 million cubic yards of material to move. But he does have plans on doing something there. That's kind of his MO, and he's done it in a smaller scale in the pit. So I haven't talked to him about that itself, but I would imagine that his plan is to make it flat and do something there.
He's still got over a million cubic.
I think that's what I was told, 1.4 million. But they'll move that fast. He's motivated. Where Putz was motivated at one point in time and then kind of fell out of it. I mean, I can remember when before they put the bypass in the college, he had 80 trips a day going up and down School Street, you know, with trucks running material from that to the pit and processing it in Hooksett.
Oh, looks.
Yeah. So
Tomorrow night is the zoning board meeting, and it is Tebow is coming for that second building that they want to put up, so somebody will be here tomorrow night from Tebow.
Well, he has come through before, and he's been an excellent community partner.
Mhm.
That was something that.
yeah, you can't ask for a better, you know, I mean, you know, we have open access to that pit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If we need anything for any sort of emergency, all it does is ask us to scale off when we leave and write down how much, and we settle up later. You know, I mean, we've had loader issues. He's been more than happy to help us in the past. We've, you know, so I think we have some really good businesses in town, and he's one of them.
Agreed. All right, so,
There's one more thing, John, did you print that document that we need to sign? It's the procedure for document control.
No, I did not have time to get that done. It's gonna have to wait until the 29th.
that would have allowed the ZBA chair and the planning board chair to sign that document that I wrote for this, when you get ready for planning and zoning, but
All right,
it's not, okay, it's not urgent, we can kick it out on, okay.
Any motions? Or should we move on?
Ready to roll.
Okay, any other new business before the board?
Just wanted to mention, our food and toy drive that we're doing townwide through the, Allenstown PD and the associations for both. We set up our room today. John, I sent him a couple of pictures I just want to share with everybody. We have a ton of stuff that was donated as far as food and toys. We just got from Family Dollar today 5 cartfuls full of toys. We set aside, we had 13 families that had emailed or signed up through the PTO, and we have filled all of their orders for toys. We're going through the food now, and we are doing the rest of the toys that are left over from, which is all the stuff on the tables, it's all left over. We are doing a family or kid shopping day at the fire station on the 21st from 10 to 1. So kids can come in with their parents, it's gonna be like 25 cents to no more than $1 for them to come in, get a little shopping bag they can go through, we did it last year. And then we're gonna have like little snacks, they're gonna have some crafts from the library that they had purchased last year. And it's just gonna be kind of like a fun time for them to come in and do some shopping on their own, and so, yeah, we're excited, we got a lot of good donations, and we got a donation last night or the night before from Legion Post 28 in Suncook for food and toys. Sully's is donating gift cards, reusable bags, and the Knights of Columbus through the church donated $100.
Oh, awesome.
So we have gotten quite a bit, and I do believe that Family Dollar will be donating more stuff. She said she projected that she'd have more by the end of the week, so just really excited about it, and I was worried because I didn't think we were gonna get a lot of stuff, and at the last minute, everybody's like, okay, we're just gonna give you stuff, and so that's what we spent the day doing today, going through all that, so I wanted to share that with everybody. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is, great work.
Will you take care of the thank yous, the association?
Yeah, we're gonna write out a whole thing, and just thank all the sponsors and everybody that pitched in.
All right,
And so,
thank you, Laura. Any other new business? We have a bunch of
Um,
things here, some.
That I'm waiting for Joanne Duport's appointment as a library trustee. She wasn't an alternate. I had dropped off the paperwork with Jackie probably about a month ago, but it's no emergency. Just wanted to put it back on the radar.
Joanne Duport,
Yes, she was an alternate and she's been serving since Jeff resigned.
so she's library trustee.
Library trustee.
Okay.
And also, is it possible for us to get a copy of the wage classification schedule? Help us in the future. Thank you.
All right, the first thing I have here is a resolution to adopt the new FEMA. And there's a bunch of acronyms here I didn't get a chance to look up. It has to do with the areas that are designated floodplain.
And this was sent to us, so we reviewed.
Oh, okay, that's right, thanks, I forgot that. So we just need a yay or nay and some signatures.
Well, we also need a motion.
We'll do that first.
Okay.
So, do you want me just to read this whole thing as the motion? And I just say that the board will adopt the resolution sent by FEMA. Make a motion for that?
that okay? Do you need something more specific? Do I need to list off all these map panels and?
Man, yeah, I would read the resolution, I think that.
Okay, there is a lot of information.
The state is,
Oh, no, that's okay.
the state is looking for confirmation that the board agreed to this, that's why I think.
Pursuant to RSA 674-57 by resolution of the select board and after approval of the applicable zoning ordinance change by planning board, all land designated as special flood hazard areas by the Federal Emergency Management Agency in its flood insurance study for the county of Merrimack, New Hampshire, dated January 23rd, 2026, together with the associated flood insurance rate map panels. Do you want me to list all the panel numbers?
Sure.
33013C0564F, 33013C0566F, 33013C0567F, 33013C0568F, 33013C0569F, 33013C0590F, 33013C0677F, 33013C0685F, 33013C0705F, dated January 23rd, 2026, are declared to be part of the town of Allenstown zoning ordinance and are hereby incorporated by reference.
I'll second.
Still be questions.
Second.
Yeah, I'm really taking notes.
Yeah, I'm all in favor.
At 9.
Diana,
Laura,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bless you. Jinxed.
Usually happens like 10 times.
Someone say question?
No, I said bless you.
No. When I sneeze, it's like 10 times usually, so I'll leave with this.
Next is the nomination form for our health officer, who we've already approved, and he said actually already employed Mr. Otto Rush. If I said that name correctly.
yep,
All right. We've already approved this, we just need. to
If that's a state form, I have to send out to board members.
Just need to sign.
Next to a couple.
12, 15, 25. Thank you.
Next are a couple of applicants for veterans discounts on their taxes. Evans already said they meet the statutory requirements. One is for Kyle Bayless, the other is Kyle Haskell. I vote that we sign this one.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Stephanie, I.
Diana,
Laura,
Scott, aye.
Those
That's
are
right.
for all of our.
Yep, at the bottom. Next two are notices of intent to cut wood or timber. First is for map 402 lot 118, 10 acres to be cut. Second is for lot 401, pardon me, map 401 lot 014. I think correctly. Acreage to be cut is 20 acres. Evan has said they were compliance, we just need to approve sign.
Hmm.
You don't approve, them, you just sign it. It's more of a notification.
You know when they paid 28 last? Pay it again next year.
What did they say, 28 left?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It had to be quite a while.
Yeah.
They spent 5, 6 years just on that bridge. And it was way beyond before that. I don't know, 20 years, 25?
Here's notification from the state that they will be paving. Paving starts US Route 3 in Allenstown and continues northerly to the St. Patrick's Circle, who's the circle.
It's a big job.
Yes, just notification on, they give us a more in-depth description of what they're going to do. He even gave us a map. So is there anything else here?
You just need to approve to sign it, dated in the areas indicated, and that was sent to the board over the weekend.
Just one signature block. Okay, I move that the board to approve and allow me to sign this state form telling us that in 28 will be paid, and make it aware of work to be done. We get it all? All right,
Second.
all in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, I, Laura,
Uh,
Oh, yes, I was, sorry.
Fifteenth day of December.
be down as well.
In December here.
Damn it, there.
You want to set back on the first Saturday now?
Probably.
My feet are getting pretty cold.
My hands and my feet are cold.
I bumped it up an hour. Move things along.
Well, you could always go to AES, it's like 94 degrees upstairs.
Right.
Makes the quick meeting.
To you, Peter, we could always go to AES, it's about 90 down there.
Second floor, makes a quick meeting when you.
There's only so many layers they can take off, they get down to that final one, we gotta call it. Warm than cold. Yeah. Cold hurts. To me, it hurts, I work outside every day, so to me it hurts.
Well, in my offices previously, there were always women who would get hot fast.
Okay.
And they would feel bad.
Almost
Like,
there.
"Oh, it's making it cold," I'm like,
John?
rather have it cold because you can add layers, they can't just shitty more.
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
Okay.
It turned out that
Oops.
I'll wear layers.
These copies from Port, did these come in?
This came from Evan. Uh, It was determined or discovered that Plug Sand and Gravel did not have an active permit, they had let their permit to excavate lapse. In checking with DES or Department of Revenue, actually. It was determined they did not need to go through the whole process, they were going to have to go. To the zoning board, to the planning board, through the whole process. What DRA determined they needed to do was simply fill out an intent to excavate for the past 8 years. 18 to 19, 19 to 20, 21 to 22, 22 to 3, 23 to 24.
It's overwhelming, shouldn't have that.
24 to 25, and conveniently enough, put down 20,000 cubic yards for every
Every
year. Evan was not sure about that process, but where it came from DRA, it's up to them to monitor and police that activity, so we have 8 or 9 intents to excavate for the board to sign. You could just list off 2 years, make a motion on all of them, and then just go through and sign them.
There's also $100 fee for every year.
Is doomage, yes,
Damage,
Okay,
that added on at the top,
okay,
you would know that.
I would know.
Yes, you would.
It does hurt. I do.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, did they get you with the too much?
so if you want me to read it off and someone can move it,
Yeah.
all right, so.
Sorry.
Make a motion that the board approve intent to excavate or plug sand and gravel for the years 2018 to 2019 in the amount of 20,000 cubic feet. 2019 to 2020 in the amount of 20,000 cubic feet. 2020 to 2021, 20,000 cubic feet. 2021 to 2022, 20,000 cubic feet. 2022 to 2023, 20,000 cubic feet. 2023 to 24, 20,000 cubic feet. 2024 to 2025, 20,000 cubic feet. And 2025 to 2026, 20,000 cubic feet. Each of those intent to excavate also includes a $100 doomage fee.
So moved.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane,
Laura, I.
Scott. Thank you, John. All we have left to sign are the minutes. Kathleen, can I impose on you for the consent calendar and
Who made the second? Diane, thanks. Did you vote? Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to ratify the consent calendar for December 15th, 2025. To approve the public meeting minutes from November 12th, 2025 and December 1st, 2025. To approve payroll and accounts payable manifest, 2025 check manifest, batch 183 and batch 185. Town PR manifest dated December 11th, 2025.
Could I impose on you to make one more amendment? Somewhere along the, we also have a third set of minutes.
December, yeah, it's December.
November 17th.
And the public meeting minutes of November 17th, 2025.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm looking for a second.
I will second.
all in favor?
Kathleen, I.
Diane, I.
Laura, I.
Scott.
I don't know if it was open or not. I was just
You can
asking.
go right to that.
Sounds like somebody scared somebody.
Somebody might have been in there.
I was.
I think somebody might have been thinking that. That would not be good. Wow, you two.
Let's see how red she is when she comes back, a little bit.
She got me. You know, there's something, 1,030,000.
Wow.
That's all it's poured in. Yeah. Nice.
We get to you, Peter. Now John's like, see, I told you I wanted to wait. I got my first check last Friday. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hand, okay. Fire house. Yeah.
No, we can hear everything.
I just can hear this scream, I scared me up to death, I opened my mouth the door, she's like. Looking at him. You're gonna have to say there, my husband's talking to me on my watch. It's okay.
All the days work. She scared me, we scared each other.
That's why we need a new town hall.
Oh, you don't realize how big it is till you're mopping every floor in. Well, that dust just goes everywhere. Even I had closed doors to keep it out, but I use water, but still. Every time you're walking down the hall, you're just tracking in into, so that's why I spent a lot of week of just trying to get that. Tomorrow I'm gonna wash some walls, make sure you're all set.
Yeah.
Around there.
That dust, sheet rock dust, it's.
Yeah, it's nasty. Concrete's even worse, I think.
It gets wet and fired.
Yeah, yeah. Although I think the two guys we got, I mean, the two crews did a good job. I was pretty happy. Had to prod them a couple times, but yeah, you know, sometimes they don't want to do any little extra work than they have, and I can understand it.
Says each other.
You forgot to mention your, the school bus was all done, the building,
Oh, yeah.
looks good.
Well, I think I
went-
did mention it last.
Well, I went by with the lights on, everything looks good, it fits in really good, yeah.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
the
get a new timer, the timer died somewhere. So right now the lights are on 24/7. But we're gonna get a new timer and change that.
So you can, the one that Mike got from Home Depot, it's just a little, it's an app for your phone and you can do it and you can change it whenever you want. It's actually, I got the Boys and Girls Club of mine, it works pretty well and it wasn't that
Did you get
expensive.
one for it?
No, we didn't for your building, but we got one for the Boys and Girls Club,
Oh.
and I can turn them on and off, I can set before. We don't have to go in, I have it set for half an hour before, after, but
Yeah.
that same thing might be easier, that way,
I'm supposed to talk to him tomorrow.
yeah, yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Kathleen, I,
Diana,
Laura,
Aye.
and that was at 8 p.m.
I don't know, she.